So I've got another combination stitch for you now. This one is called Scottish Squares or Scottish Stitch, and it's made from Scotch squares and tent stitch. So this is what it looks like. This is it here. So here's our Scotch squares, and then in between those are rows of tent stitch. So I'll show you how to put those two stitches together. So I've worked my Scotch squares first, and the thing that you need to know about this is there needs to be a gap between the squares. If you've seen the Scotch squares video, you'll notice that we put the stitches right next to each other. These need a gap, so they've got a gap of 1 thread. That's not a thread and a hole. We're going to use that next hole, it's just 1 thread between them. So I'm going to come up in the corner, put my first corner stitch in, so all of these stitches are diagonal, and I'll work a couple and then you can see that gap between. This one is the middle stitch. Then we go along the top to finish off the square and up the side. Don't get carried away and turn them into rectangles. So you can see there's 1 thread vertically and 1 thread horizontally, so that's important. So I'm going to put the other 2 in while I'm here. There's the corner one. So once you get to the corner one, make sure you come across the top and finish off that square. And then we'll put the last one in here. Making sure you leave that thread in between each block of stitches. Across the top. Part that one out of the way. So then I'm going to put the tent stitches in between. So you have to be a little bit systematic when you do this. So I think going down in a row is the best way to tackle it, and then you can go across the horizontal. So I'm going to come all the way up here, doing the tent stitch, so that's the long stitch on the back. Pop and check that video out if you haven't seen the tent stitch video. See the difference between tent stitch, half cross and basket weave. We're doing tent stitch. So it's the long stitch on the back, so kind of doing a back stitch in a way. I'm just going to come all the way down this row. I've already gone across the other way, so we'll just hop over that one there. Threading in between, and it gives you this nice grid pattern. I've done 2 colours again, so you can see the 2 different stitches. You could do the same colour. You could mix the colours in your squares and do different colours in your squares and keep the between tent stitch the same. Lots of different combinations as with all of these canvas stitches. And then once you've gone down there, I'm going to hop over to here. That's not too far to travel on the back, that's fine. Because I'm doing my tent stitch, I'm now coming up on the right and going down on the left, so that I've got the long stitch on the back. I'm going to just go all of the way up there now, filling in between. Depending on what area you're working with this, you might want to work a row of Scotch stitch and then put a row of your tent stitch in and then a row of Scotch stitch. That's not easy to say. And that will make your stitching a little bit neater. So you can see that nice grid pattern coming, and if that was all I was doing, I can then just jump over and fill in these little arms just to finish off that nice square. And the last one. So that's the 2 stitches together, Scotch and tent stitch gives you the Scottish squares.